tried to photograph anything underwater, lighting is really hard. So I've had to build a lighting rig. I tested the whole system dry and it worked. I then tested it wet and it worked. I then pulled it all out and started to make it properly and it didn't work. So I've now had to build a waterproofed radio triggered system. When you need to fire 6 lights simultaneously underwater at the same time and still have control over those lights and their output, that was the only real way to do it. The next thing is the actual building of the set itself. We couldn't just build it all and sink it either and leave it there, because not our pool. So whilst we have a little bit of extra time, we still have a time frame to work to. My scariest issue is that stuff's going to sink or float or not sink how we want it to. We've given ourselves 2 days to build and 3 days of it didn't work, we need to fix it. Everything wanted to float. So we had everything weighted, screwed, nailed, bolted, done. You know, it worked and the set stayed together. I had never heard of anyone creating a floral wall underwater before. Those flowers could have all just floated off and the salt could have eaten them and it just could have turned into flower soup. We wired every single stem onto that, and thanks to everyone that helped do that. We put them in the water very gently and very little of it fell apart. It actually worked really, really well, so I was happy with that. The little girl that we used as a model, she couldn't sink very well, nor could she swim very well in that dress. So we had a little bit of a problem with safety of one, how do I get her to sink? And two, how do I get her to swim back up? And what we ended up doing was I had a safety diver right next to me, just out of frame, like literally arm's distance from her underwater. And we put a weight belt on her in the water. I couldn't see her face because all the balloons were in front of it. She'd say, I'm ready, and she'd let her feet go and she'd sink down, and my safety diver would be in there ready to catch. Everything went pretty damn smooth actually, which was very surprising because it was complicated and it was a big job and there was a lot of people involved. The point of this whole exercise, basically I'm doing it because I want to do it. There's no client involved here. Everyone that's been involved has either worked for a reduced rate or for free to make this happen. For myself, call it a self-imposed tax on benefiting from the natural world for so many years through my photography. I figure the least I can do is, try and throw a little back in the projects I work on. Initially, I wanted to create these sets entirely free of plastic, but it's not possible. Seriously, it is not possible. I guess that just shows how bad the problem is that I actually can't create a series of photographs about plastic pollution without using plastics. To build this set and get this project done, there was not a single part that wasn't in some way reliant on some kind of plastic to make it happen. And that's a problem when you think about the fact that this stuff never breaks down. It does break up into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces, and eventually it ends up in the food chain, but it never goes away. So just think about that when you walk around and when you do anything. See what's made of plastic and get your head around it. So when it comes to solving the world's problems, this little guy's got it sorted. I've asked him to help. I've asked him to help many times, but the response I get is generally the same as the response we're getting right now. Sometimes you get, I'm hungry, and then I feed him.